Did we start? Oh, we are recording.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys. Hello.
We're doing our best.
All right, so this is our final project. I'm Riley,
I'm Mona.
and let's dive right into it. Okay, so our topic for this project is that we chose to analyze if there is a correlation between the location of college students' universities and an increased consciousness about external appearance, which is also known as appearance orientation. We initially believed that college students who attended places that were more urban, specifically Los Angeles, would be more fashion conscious, and because of surrounding fashion and entertainment industries is why we thought that this would happen.
Yeah.
So our hypothesis is students enrolled in a Los Angeles college will have a higher appearance orientation for fashion than those who are not. And then, so for our independent variable is student enrollment, and our dependent variable is appearance orientation. So defining appearance orientation, it refers to the level of attention individuals place on their appearance. This comes from a study from Dixon. Those who have a higher appearance orientation usually will place more emphasis on their overall physical appearance, which is like getting dressed in the morning. They may highly value being perceived as attractive by others, and appearance orientation usually assesses the importance of appearance by the extent of investment or certain grooming behaviors and the attention that one pays to their own appearance, and that comes from Frontiers.
Okay, so let's talk about the pre-existing research. Sorry for any background noise. So basically, appearance orientation may actually play a more significant role in our lives than we think it does, even if we aren't really aware of it. And to look into what research was already out there, we basically went over 3 different studies, which we've all referenced in our references section at the end. The first study was completed by researcher Dixon, and it evaluated AO, social evaluation, and body discrimination amongst severely obese subjects. And if I'm looking down, I'm just researching or referencing my notes because this is a pretty complicated study. Yeah, we got a script. So this study examined the importance of appearance presentation and self-evaluation of appearance prior to and following weight loss among severely obese subjects. Researchers found that individuals who struggle with severe obesity experience discrimination as well as embarrassment regarding their appearance, which can cause psychosocial distress. In the study, they had subjects complete like a survey, like an evaluation form prior to and following like major weight loss surgery. And they called this the multidimensional body self-relations questionnaire. And this happened over a 2-year period. The researchers found that prior to surgery, 322 patients, 48 were men, 247 were women, produced AO scores similar to that of community norms, with the exception of super obese subjects who placed significantly less importance on their appearance. The researchers found that there was no change in appearance orientation 1 to 4 years post-surgery, except among super obese subjects whose mean values rose to community norms after about a year. Another study we looked at talked about appearance orientation and disordered eating. This study examined the associations of eating disorder symptoms and AO with internal body awareness amongst a group of women with eating disorders, as well as, or like compared to just a general sample of women. Researchers were motivated to investigate this topic to further understand something called objectification theory. Objectification theory refers to the idea that certain psychological disorders like depression, anxiety, mental health issues, eating disorders may disproportionately affect women due to their sexual objectification of the outward body in Western cultures. According to objectification theory, the habitual monitoring of outward appearance and dieting results in severe negative consequences. And the main one, which is what they were researching, is attention to internal body signals. So like hunger signals, thirst, things like that. This study found that within the group of women with eating disorders, their symptoms were negatively related to awareness of, eating disorder symptoms were negatively related to awareness of body signals like hunger and thirst. The final study was done by Swami, and it looked at appearance orientation and appearance-related rejection in dating behavior. In this study, researchers aim to contribute to existing research by examining how appearance-related factors, which is AO, are associated with dating anxiety in emerging adults, which I think refers to teenagers. While the structure of this study is a little hard to understand, they utilized a moderated mediation model where social physique anxiety, or the anxiety experience when an individual believes they're being observed or judged by others on their appearance, and appearance-based rejection sensitivity, which is like fears induced by thoughts of being rejected because of the way that you look, acted as mediators. Where self-compassion acted as a moderator of the relationship between AO and dating anxiety. The researchers found that associations among all variables were largely similar between men and women. I forgot to mention that they were comparing men to women, with the exception of the relationship between social physique and appearance-based rejection sensitivity being stronger amongst women, as well as self-compassion was moderately associated with lower dating anxiety amongst all respondents. And just kind of as a summary, AO may affect body image, eating habits, perceptions of strangers, which is like cognitive bias, and social relationships, anything from romantic to professional. And what we got out of the pre-existing research is that studying AO, which is communication about yourself through your appearance, can provide more insight into nonverbal social communication patterns of behavior in general. Okay, so how does AO relate to fashion? Well, fashion consumption is basically purchasing of textiles or taking in the ideas from media about fashion trends and such in general. Fashion consumption is influenced by a consumer's desire to create an individual identity and produce the self, which is kind of like creating a self-identity. Fashion consumption is a process developed through interactions with others and interactions with the marketplace. So how does this relate to AO? Consumer goods or fashion are utilized as communication, nonverbal communication tools between individuals. Individuals use clothing to present themselves, reinforce their idea, or portray their social status.
So why this topic is worth studying, we had a few different ideas to touch on, but with the advancement of technology and varying forms of media that have become more prominent and over the last decade or so, it's begun to alter how people view themselves and our own appearance, at least personally. And keeping up with emerging trends like what you see on TikTok, or maintaining an appearance that is acceptable or on brand, have become a lot more prevalent in a society that is increasingly more pop culture and media dominated. These ideas are particularly more noticeable in city or urban areas, places like Los Angeles or New York City, which are considered major fashion hubs. We wanted to study this to shed light on this growing phenomenon and hopefully reassure the very large amount of people who are hard on themselves in regard to their appearance, hopefully just show them that they're not alone. And this is actually a very common thing that people deal with on a daily basis. So for our methods portion, we used a convenience scale. Just due to limited time and resources, we had to do this. But we created a public survey using Qualtrics, and we posted our survey to our Instagram stories using the story feature. It was a hyperlink, and it lasted for about 24 hours. That's what the story feature lets you use. And we received a total of 68 responses combined on each of our accounts. So as I just said, due to the limited time and resources, this is why we had to use convenience. But in the future, if we were to do this experiment over again, we would probably try to use random sampling in order to get a more accurate results and a better reflection of the general population, which is US college students. And also we filtered out anybody who was attending school virtually, just because no one's getting really dressed up to go sit at their computer. And also on top of that, there was a good chunk of people who went to take our survey that weren't actually in college, which is they had to stop, which led to us getting a little bit less responses than we thought we would.
Sorry about the noise. in the
Sorry, we
background.
just 1 sec. So sorry.
Okay, let's try and keep going. So for our methods, we used a survey scale that was developed in a research study called Clothing Style Confidence, the Development and Validation of a Multi-Dimensional Scale to Explore Product Longevity. But really, we're only looking at the appearance orientation scale that these researchers used. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
They just stop recording after this one, maybe, and we'll be like, we're back. Okay, we're back. Sorry, guys.
We're gonna reshare a screen, keep going.
Well, you guys heard everything we said.
Yeah. So again, we're just using the appearance orientation scale developed by other researchers. And the measure included 5 questions, which will be the next slide. We'll show you guys the responses. Options ranged from strongly agree, which is a 5, to strongly disagree, which is a 1. And we also included open-ended questions at the end, which we will read an example to you guys. And we just included those so people could elaborate more on their personal feelings about fashion and appearance orientation and get some like qualitative data as well. Oh, so here's the screenshot. This is the 5-question survey scale that we use, the measure. And I also included the minimum and maximum values of all respondents. So like the maximum value on that first question is a 5. Strongly agree, somebody felt. And then the lowest one that we ever got was what I look like is an important part of who I am. Somebody felt like they strongly disagreed with that statement.
I'm really happy for them.
Okay, so to complete our analysis, we did a t-test. We had 1 categorical variable and 1 continuous level variable. And we had a directional hypothesis. Remember, we thought that LA students would have a higher appearance orientation. So we did a 1-tailed test and we needed a p-value that was less than 0.05. So here's a screenshot of us running our test in Excel. And we did find, yay, that we had a p-value of 0.0212, which is a statistically significant value. Thus, we are able to reject the null hypothesis and accept our hypothesis. But unfortunately, because we didn't use random sampling, our external validity is really low. So it would be hard for us to generalize our findings to the population outside of just our sample. And some descriptive statistics we have is that the mean score of respondents was 22.3, the median score was 21, and the mode was 25. Some other descriptive statistics, 21 of our participants said they were attending an LA college, 28 said they were not. We had 5 men and 29 women complete it. 2 people were non-binary, 1 person did put other as their gender. And then as far as like racial ethnicity makeup, we had 4 African-American or Black respondents, 25 white, 2 Pacific Islander or Asian, 2 multiple ethnicity, and 3 other. So we'll talk about that more in our discussion.
It's also worth noting that we thought there would probably be more women who took our survey just based on the material. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we found that students attending an LA college, obviously they have a higher appearance orientation than those who do not. So this is just a little refresh on consumer goods, which fashion are utilized as a form of nonverbal communication tools. So why would an LA student pay more attention or highly value their personal appearance, which kind of has to tie into that we live in it's a fashion hub. It's Los Angeles. And there's a lot of entertainment industries, there's celebrities, and that's any city in the United States. So I feel like people just pay much more attention. Yeah, in urban areas, they just pay a lot more attention to how they look and how they dress because it's almost it's just the culture, I guess. And LMU clubs also promote a lot of personal expression through clothing style. You know, we have Wellness Wednesday every week where
Thrift
people are
club.
selling their closets, the thrift clubs. So it's just, it's a culture. So some limitations for our project was that there were 68 total respondents and 35 usable responses. I kind of touched on that earlier, that people who are not college students, if they clicked that at the beginning of our survey, they probably stopped taking the rest of the survey. So that definitely, we had to eliminate those responses when running our test. And the survey was also only available online versus if we handed out like a printed copy to people, we might have been able to get more responses, especially at least from the LMU student body, but we weren't able to do that. And we also did not utilize no, I'm sorry, it was a non-random sampling method that we use when convenience sampling, which it probably would have been more accurate results if we had used a random sample. And also maybe if we got a little bit more diversity in our results, because there was a lot of white females who took our survey.
And I think just one last point is we could have been a little bit stricter about defining what an LA college was. Like we could have included a map or something. We just had participants kind of self-identify. But as far as like accuracy goes, I think that kind of lowered how precise we could be about like geographical terms when it comes to the study. And then we also, before we end, we just want to read you guys an example of like the open-ended questions we put.
Okay. So one of our first ones was, when it comes to your own fashion sense, please describe on average how much effort you would put into styling yourself, which in parentheses, we put time, cost, or researching new and emerging trends. So an example of somebody's answer was, it takes me a while to find a piece to add to my closet. This is due to considering the following factors. What can I pair this with? Can I pair it with multiple items? Is it great enough quality to last me a while? Does it help me express myself? What does this say about me? I tend to build boards on Pinterest and other apps like that, and then use photographic inspirations to build my outfit. Another example from this question was, I spend around $150 on new clothes every 2 months or so. I feel as if my wardrobe is already compiled. Styling myself takes around 30 minutes per day because I already know what I would look good in and fit well on my body personally. And they said that their style is usually casual, comfortable, and cute. So if you want to do 12, it's all you.
Okay. Another question we put at the end, please describe how societal expectations do or do not influence your perception of your own fashion sense. Somebody said, I feel as when I'm walking through campus, it's very evident that a lot of people are wearing the same kind of shoe or article of clothing. Because of this, it's very easy to be influenced by trends. I believe that's all they are, trends. I usually don't feed into trends, but when it comes to my fashion sense, if I think something looks good, I'll usually buy it and wear it for more long-time use. Overall, I do believe some trends influence my perception of my own fashion sense. Somebody else said, societal expectations make me feel bad about not caring about fashion because there is definitely pressure to dress up and have a perfectly styled outfit every day, which is not something I care about.
And that last one really ties into what we were trying to uncover in this, that people feel like they need to dress better in environments like this.
Yeah, and I think the one right before that is kind of like, it gets back to fashion, AO, and creating a sense of identity that overall, we use clothes to communicate about ourselves, like non-verbally.
This is the same part, but this person also said that the expectations make them feel like they have a bunch of things to wear, but they don't actually want to wear any of it because of these expectations, which I can attest, like 70% of my closet I will not wear on campus.
Oh, goodness.
So just a personal example. But
We hope you
is,
guys learned something.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.